Hi guys, it's Lily Raimondo, and I'm joined here by our lovely captains of the Northeast Generals team for the 2022-2023 season. And today we're going to be recapping the NAHL Showcase. So welcome, boys. Thank you for joining me today and recapping this past week. So obviously the showcase is a big opportunity for players and teams to, go out there and show what they've got. So what were your thoughts prior to going there, and kind of what did you want to set out to accomplish during your time there?
Yeah, it's definitely an exciting event. We only had two regular season games before we got there, so we got those out of the way, and then we were super pumped. Everyone obviously knows how many scouts are there, and you want to bring your best. And obviously, the result we got there wasn't necessarily the best, but we know we have to work on. And I think guys individually showed what they have to offer. So I think overall it was great. It was a great event, and it just highlighted the things we need to work on going forward.
I think going into the event, it was kind of good to see what guys were going to do when it came grind time, because you can practice for however many weeks during training camp. And yeah, we had two games against Maine, but having 4 games in 4 days, it kind of showed what guys were made of. So I guess going into there, we were kind of excited to see who was going to bring what to the table. And kind of Dave mentioned it before, just having all the people in the building really helps get eyes on for each individual guys and for us as a team. So it's good to see what other teams were bringing and what we were able to bring. So it was kind of good learning standpoint from both views of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was probably just the best to knock off the rust. I mean, it definitely showed the guys who are ready and the guys who weren't yet. We have a lot of work to do, obviously, from our record, but glad thing, we're tied for third in the East, so could be worse. I mean, we're definitely behind what our goal wanted to be, but we're not in a horrible position, I guess.
So Jack, like you mentioned, you guys played Maine the weekend before, heading there for your season opener, which is a team that you're, of course, very familiar to facing. And all of the games that you played out in the showcase were obviously teams that we don't see you guys playing normally. So I'm sure for some people out there who are watching this, it might have been like a different experience for them watching you guys play teams that you aren't familiar with and that aren't in the East. But what difference, like if any, did you experience when getting to play these games with these teams that will also like turn over for the rest of the games this season?
It was good to be able, to see what the other divisions had to offer. It kind of gives us an idea if we do make a run. Obviously, it's so early. Like if we do make a playoff push, we'll know what we have to deal with if we ever get back there. And yeah, I think other than that, it was just to see each kind of how each division brings different aspects of the game. It was kind of cool, but other than that, I don't have much.
Yeah. So what I kind of saw playing different teams in different divisions, it was kind of good to see what the NAHL was going to look like as a whole over the year. Because obviously we play against the same teams within our division most of the year, and you don't get to see or hear a lot about other teams, different personnel, their play styles, like what their kind of goals or short-term, long-term, what they're kind of going for. So it's kind of good to be able to view and compare and kind of match where we are to where they are around the league, So it's kind of good just to get a kind of wider view and aspect of the whole league instead of just staying within our own little division. So it was good to just be kind of present there and seeing what other teams had to offer.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of them. Playing teams in different divisions most definitely gives us a different viewpoint on how the whole league is. Like every division, everyone has a different play style. So when we go into those games, it's not we're expecting an East play style to play against. It's the South team. Like when we played Oklahoma, their South's hard hitting division. So we went into that game knowing it's going to be a hard hitting game, knowing that we had to finish checks, getting on the forecheck, and just playing teams in other divisions shows us what they are capable of, and hopefully we get to play them in Robertson Cup.
Yeah, I mean, building off that, we stuck with Oklahoma. Like, it was a pretty good game. I think we're one of like the closer teams that played them through the whole weekend, and they were found to be by a bunch of scouts and other coaches that they're the best team so far in the NAHL right now. So I think that points out how good we are if we want to play. So I think it's just gives us a little bit of like a silver lining, I guess. That's what Brian said, but yeah, we can stick with the best team if we stick to our game and play well.
So unfortunately, you guys didn't walk away with a win while you were there. And generally, for the most part, the East had a particularly tough time. But you've also got like a lot of new guys who are, of course, like having their first season playing on an NA team. So kind of like, what was the mentality of everyone after you guys finished the week, especially after facing this kind of defeat?
I think for Blaine in particular, each game was kind of we kind of go by, like Brian goes by, that we don't change our game for anyone. They address to us, but obviously playing teams from each division, there's certain things that you just have to like be prepared for. And I guess before every game, we'd highlight the things that a certain team would bring in comparison to other teams. So Oklahoma, obviously more physical. Chippewa was more skilled. Their defensemen are smaller. So I guess just things like that were highlighted in Blaine. And then I guess we just kind of move forward with things that we found that we need to work on. Obviously in video this week, we're watching back things that we need to work on, and we just move forward.
Yeah, like Dave said, seeing all the new guys come in, they're trying to figure out what their role is, how they're going to be able to play in this league. Obviously not the result we wanted, but we're putting that behind us now. This week, we're putting in the work, getting ready for Johnstown. Everyone's working on their mistakes that happened in Minnesota and taking them into this week, working on them so they don't happen again in Johnstown.
Yeah, kind of building on what Minnie said, we're 6 games in to the season, so it's always good to remember that it's still very early and we're still relatively new. Guys still trying to figure out how to play with each other. Guys still trying to figure out their place in the league and on the team and all of that. So I guess it was a big learning experience from us. Obviously, we wanted to come away with a win. We always want to win every single game. But if we're going to come out with anything, it's kind of we learned more about ourselves as a team, as a unit, and as individuals that will help us moving forward. And it's still early. So that's always in my head, is that it's still early and we still have a lot of developing to do as a group. So it's not worth hitting the panic button or anything like that when we still have time to make those adjustments and still come out on top later on in the season.
So you guys have your home opener this weekend, which is super exciting. So obviously you'll be kind of back in your territory, and you'll be hitting the ground running again. So how do you think that, kind of being home back in Attleboro is going to kind of give you the boost in the right direction, especially when you're playing a team like Johnstown?
I mean, Johnstown's coming to us, so they got a 10-hour bus ride. And we've done that bus ride a couple times, so we know how grueling that'll be. So I think their legs will be tired. We'll definitely have the upper hand. We get to sleep at our own beds. We get to go to our favorite diner, Morin's Diner, before the game if we want to. So, I think it plays in our hands. It's what we need to start the East Division off right. We're 1-1 in the East. I think, honestly, we're going to come out 3-1 after this weekend. So it just matters if we want to play and come as a team. And when we play as a team, we're one of the best teams in the league. So
yeah, it's nice to be back in the East. I don't have much other than we kind of know how Johnstown plays, so we're gonna prepare for that this week. And we're tied with them right now in the win column, so these games are huge. We can push ourselves up and chase that number 1 spot. But I don't have much. Let's beat them.
Yeah, going off like what Shub said, with them having the 10-hour bus trip and us being able to sleep in our own beds, that's always an advantage coming to these games, because you get the bus legs, like they're going to be tired first game. So I feel like if we come out hot and ready, just go, I feel like we have a good chance of taking both this weekend.
Yeah, just being in your own barn, it kind of gives you a big sense of comfort, and just it's huge, especially early on, just kind of having the confidence up and kind of getting into a rhythm early on, and just being in a barn kind of helps. Being in your own barn kind of helps with that. So that's definitely an advantage that we have. Yeah, as far as what we can do this week, it's just kind of making practice as game-like as possible. It's just so that transition between practice to game is closer, so we can kind of start with our going 100% right away, and there's no time.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me and kind of going through this past week. And I hope you guys have a really good home opener and you're able to sweep the weekend. So
thank you.
Thank you.